All right, let's talk about block pressure. One of the most important components to oppressing your opponent with your offense, especially with Batman. He's great for this. Pressure describes the tactic of attacking an opponent in a way that limits their options and forces them to stay on the defense, usually through the use of frame advantage. And again, Batman's great at this because of his trait, which can leave him plus. He has many strings as well that cause frame traps. Just really, really good at this type of stuff. One of the best ways to create pressure is with block advantage. Since your character is able to recover first when you have block advantage, the startup of your attack can have a head start. For example, Firestorm's Fusion Charge, which is an 8-frame startup, is faster than Batman's Hammer Fist, which is a 10-frame startup. But Batman's slower attack can consistently interrupt the faster attack if it's performed immediately after Firestorm blocks Batman's Tumbler, which is block advantage of 7. So I'm plus 7. So you notice I can interrupt it. This technique becomes more effective and easier to execute when you use a faster attack after you have frame advantage. Follow Tumbler, which is, again, advantage plus 7, or block advantage 7, with Cruiser Kick, which is a 9-frame startup. So if we have the 9-frame startup, we're plus 7, so we're definitely going to be able to land our attack. All right, because he has nothing that can hit me that's 2 frames, because that's the difference between the two. So you just got to keep that in mind. None of Firestorm's attacks can start here we go, faster than 2 frames. Here we go. So any attempt to attack after blocking will be consistently interrupted by your second attack. This technique is known as a frame trap. Bing. Frame traps are a highly effective way to force the opponent to block instead of attack, and then you can condition them once they start respecting the frames. And hopefully they get into that as well. That would be great. Start doing like wild stuff like neutral jumps and cross ups and stuff that you really shouldn't be able to do because they're just respecting you a little too much. There we go. Frame traps. Gotta love it. Batman's Vengeance has a block advantage of 6, allowing for a frame trap between 2 combo attack strings. So let's see. Let's go. So it's 1, 1, 3. Not in range. There we go. Nope. Hit it too early. This is where, like, inputs are key. You got to really practice your character's frame traps so you can input that button immediately right when it's supposed to be input so people can't poke out of your frame traps. It's very important. It's key. Especially if you're a Batman player, you got to get those inputs very precise. Some special moves are useful for creating frame traps after attacks that don't have frame advantage. Batman can cancel into his up Batarang meter burn, which is a 19 block advantage to create a frame trap that causes significant block damage. There we go. Batman's character power is extremely effective at creating pressure. Since mechanical bats can be released while Batman is performing other actions, he can easily create frame traps after attacks that are normally unsafe. So we're going to do this. We're going to go, There we go. So you can't hit a button because those mechanical bats are coming in and you're stuck in block stun. Alright, so it allows Batman to do more moves while you're standing there blocking. Alright, creates frame traps with this trait. Experiment with different attacks to learn new frame traps. They are effective for controlling the pace of the match, creating opportunities to mix up the opponent, building meter, and dealing block damage. And there we go. Frame traps, boys. Alright, next up on the docket, we got hit pressure. Generally, when you finish an attack that hits the opponent and leaves them standing, they won't be able to do anything but block until they've completely recovered. Alright, I'm guessing we're going to get into the grapple here. This means that you can create a frame trap after attacks with hit advantage that don't knock down. Perform Cape Sweep, which is a 15 frame startup, immediately after low jab, which is hit advantage 12. The difference there is 3. So we're going to go down 1, and then down 3. I didn't even know that was a frame trap, honestly. I'd never seen anybody do that. Down 1, down 3. Usually they'll go in the combo at back 1. If your second attack has a startup that's faster than the hit advantage of your first attack, your second attack can connect while the opponent is still recovering. For example, Batman can force the opponent to block Crusader Kick, which is a 9-frame startup, if he performs it immediately after hitting with low jab. So we're going to go here. No, that's not it. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Yeah, back 1. Oh, geez, I'm going crazy. Yeah, down 1 into back 1. That's usually what Batman players do. This technique is known as jailing. It jails. You can't get out of it. Can't backdash, can't jump, can't do anything. You got to block it. All right, jailing means you can't move. Yeah, this is one of the things that I hate about Batman, right? So you poke. There we go, I got it. But see that grappling hook kept coming out? It's annoying. There we go. Batman's tragic hit, 12 frames advantage. And Showdown is hit advantage of 18. Combo strings are effective at jailing opponents. Nice. I guess it didn't link. Alright, hold up. Oh, wait. That's why. Hitting the wrong buttons. Hitting the wrong buttons, Gleez. That's why. What is going on? Why is it lagging like that? It's weird. It keeps freezing. Bop, 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 bop. After jailing your opponent with a hit, follow up with attacks that have high block advantage to create additional frame traps. This kind of sustained pressure is great for dealing chip damage and building meter. There we go. There we go. Hey! Hit pressure in there. When competing with a skilled opponent, you'll inevitably be in situations where the opponent has an advantage and is applying offensive pressure. There are several options to escape pressure, but you'll need to know when and how to use each effectively. Remember, if your opponent has hit you with an attack that has enough hit advantage to jail you, your only option is to block until you fully recover. If you block an attack that has block advantage, it's very risky to attack afterward, since the opponent can easily put you in a frame trap, which we just went over. Oh man, that's a classic Black Adam frame trap right there. Blocking has its own risks though. You're potentially vulnerable to throws and overhead low mix-ups, and your opponent will gradually inflict damage and build meter the longer you block. Alright, they're building meter when they're inflicting that chip damage. One alternative to blocking is to backdash, which is brief invulnerability. Whenever backdash so many times in this tutorial, backdash is such a great tool. If you don't realize that by now, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. When blocked, some combo attack strings have brief gaps. Hear that? Brief gaps between the attacks, during which you recover and have control of your character. These gaps are generally too short to safely attack, but they can give you enough time to perform a reversal backdash to escape the opponent's block pressure. There we go. Don't become overly reliant on backdashes to escape frame traps and gaps in combo attacks, as you're still vulnerable to attacks at the end of the dash, or as the dash ends, I should say. If your opponent predicts that you'll backdash, they can easily punish you with a far-reaching attack. Ah, I gotcha. Do it again. Oh, snap! If you see your opponent perform an attack that has block disadvantage, you have an opportunity to start your own offensive block pressure with one of your faster attacks. Frame trap me? Okay. Good. Oh, back. Oh, back. Huh. There we go. Wasn't hitting it soon enough. If your opponent risks using an attack that's unsafe on block, be sure to capitalize on the opportunity to punish with a combo. Consistently punishing unsafe attacks can scare your opponent into avoiding some of their most powerful tools. What the hell? You see that? It was so weird. There's some opportunities to attack when your opponent has frame advantage, though it's usually very risky unless your opponent is behaving predictably. Watch to see if your opponent uses high attacks to create a frame trap. You can duck under the high attack and interrupt with a ducking attack. Just like that. His forward one. Your opponent won't always perform a frame trap when they have block advantage. They may choose a slower attack to create an overhead low mix-up, and they can do that once you've been conditioned to respect the frame trap. If you can predict your opponent will perform a slower attack, you have a chance to interrupt them with your fastest attack. There we go. A block escape is a very safe option to escape frame traps and create space. Just like that. Some characters will drain or lose an active character power, particularly the trait. Gets rid of that. Gets rid of the batarangs or the mechanical bats. It gets rid of Dexstar. It knocks away Poison Ivy's little minion. All right, so all those things, you got to be aware of that. There we go. Shoo. If there's a big enough gap in your opponent's frame trap, you can meter burn, bounce. Let's do it. Boom. If you have a full super meter, you can also perform a reversal super move. There it is. We got him. I was mashing those too. Tough. Woo, look at that. Blast him.
Your powers don't matter.
The foundation of an effective defense against pressure is knowledge of the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent's attacks. Even if you don't know the exact frame data for each of your opponent's attacks, it helps to learn which of their common attacks have block advantage, which have block disadvantage, and which are unsafe on block, and which can jail on hit. So those are all the things you have to know. That's the way that I learn it. I don't learn necessarily the exact number, but I know my options with every move. It's all about knowing your options and just having that kind of running checklist in your head where, oh, I have to punish this with my fastest startup. Oh, he's, at plus, and in this situation I can backdash, or I can poke if he tries to go for a high, or I'm best to just block after, forward 2 hits. All right, so just all those things you got to run in your head for each matchup. It's the best way to go about it. All right, your neutral game where So much of the match is won and lost in neutral. The neutral game describes scenarios where no player has an immediate advantage and both players are free to attack, block, or move. When playing the neutral game, your goal is to land successful attacks while avoiding your opponents and put yourself in a situation where you have a positional advantage or frame advantage. The ranges of your attacks are very important in neutral. When the opponent is in a space you can hit, it becomes more dangerous for them to take an action, since you can interrupt them with an attack at any moment. Alright, one of his best neutral tools, forward 2, far reaching. Use the threat of your attack to limit your opponent's options when they're in range. You don't necessarily need a hit, since some blocked attacks can lead to pressure and an offensive advantage. Faster attacks are more difficult for the opponent to react to and can interrupt them more easily, while long-range attacks can threaten and control more space in front of you. Got some pokes. We got a standing 1, standing 2, standing 3, back 1 for the low, good tool, back 2, good range, also anti-air some things. We got the sweep, back 3, forward 2, again, like I said, one of his best neutral tools. Also his forward 3 is pretty good. We also have the batarangs. We're going through like all his moves. Your opponent will also attempt to control space by threatening you with their attacks. You'll be more successful in the neutral game if you learn the ranges of the opponent's best mid and long range attacks. Know the ranges. A character's farthest reaching attack will often move the character forward to cover more space. This can be very effective in neutral situations to close the gap for a combo or pressure or hit or block. On hit or block, I should say. But it's often risky if you miss. A character is vulnerable to a punish if they miss their attack, especially if the attack moves forward and has a long recovery. Oh wait, they want me to sweep him. Oh, okay. Nice. The opponent will not move into the range of your attacks if they use a stationary attack, but you can use a well-timed advancing attack to punish them if you're just outside of their range. Oh. Oh, I hit it too early. It's even possible to hit the extended limbs of the opponent if you anticipate it. Oh, damn. Yeah. This timing is so wonky. Oh my god. There we go, finally. Oh my god. There we go. Your far-reaching attacks can threaten a significantly larger space if you punish the opponent when they miss with an advancing attack. Boom. Nice. In neutral play, you'll want to stay outside the range of the opponent's best attacks while keeping the opponent inside the range of your best attacks. You want to be in a space and have a spacing between you and your opponent that's most advantageous to you. When you're just within range of an opponent's attack, you can walk backwards just as they strike to make them miss, giving you an opportunity to punish. There we go. Oh, snap. There it is. You'll automatically block most attacks if you're walking backwards, unless it's a low. There we go. And that's it.